There's a kind of knowledge that does not need to be learned, but remembered. It doesn't come from books, teachings, or rituals. It rises quietly, like an echo from a time before time. And in that remembrance, you don't discover something new. You rediscover yourself. This is awakening, not an achievement, but a homecoming, not a discovery, but a return to what you always were. Today, let's walk together through the story of that remembrance, the silent journey, from forgetting to knowing, from searching to simply being. Imagine a small child standing at the edge of the sea. He scoops up a handful of water and says, "This is my ocean." He doesn't realize that the water in his hands is the same as the vast ocean before him. As he grows, he forgets the sea entirely. He builds castles in the sand, kingdoms of identity. He says, "I am this castle. I am this form. I am what I build." But one day, the tide comes in, and the waves wash everything away. The child kneels, crying, watching the water return to the place it always belonged. And in that moment, he remembers the water was never separate. He was never separate. This is what happens to all of us. We come into this world as the ocean, pure consciousness, whole and boundless. But as life begins, we start identifying with forms. Our name, our body, our story, and slowly we forget. We forget the ocean. We forget our own depth. We call this forgetting life. But it is really just a dream of separation. All suffering begins with forgetting, not forgetting dates or faces, but forgetting who we truly are, like a wave, believing it is independent from the sea. We begin to live as if we are cut off from the source. And in that false belief, we chase after endless mirages. Success, approval, security, love, validation, trying to fill an emptiness that was never real. We're like a person in a dream, thirsty and desperate, not realizing that the water was within them all along. The more we search, the further we move from what was never lost. And that's the tragedy. You cannot find what was never missing. The journey of awakening begins the moment you stop running outward and turn inward to remember. There's an ancient story of a mirror buried under layers of dust. For years, no one could see their reflection in it. People believed the mirror was broken, but it was only covered. One day, a wanderer sat before it. He did not try to replace it, or buy a new one, or decorate it with ornaments. He simply began to wipe away the dust. Slowly, patiently, With each breath, when the last speck disappeared, he looked and saw, not his face, but the light itself staring back. Our consciousness is that mirror. The dust is our conditioning, fears, labels, and beliefs that tell us we are small and separate. The act of wiping it clean is not about adding anything new. It's about remembering the radiance that was always shining beneath the layers. Liberation is not becoming divine. It's realizing you always were. Most people spend their entire lives seeking. They walk through the labyrinth of the world, hoping to find the door to truth. They change teachers, switch paths, collect knowledge, chant words, read scriptures, and yet the more they gather, the heavier their bags become. Until one day, exhausted, they sit down and whisper, "I surrender. I don't know anything." And in that surrender, the labyrinth begins to dissolve. The seeker realizes there was never a maze to escape. The walls were made of thought. The exit was within. Awakening happens, not by accumulating wisdom, but by releasing everything that hides it. So, how do you remember what you always were? Not through effort, not through struggle, but through stillness. The mind can only forget. It cannot remember the timeless, because it was born in time. But the heart, the silent witness, remembers. It has never forgotten. When you sit quietly, when you stop chasing, comparing, fighting, you may begin to feel a familiar presence. A presence that doesn't come and go. A peace that doesn't depend on anything. That is you, the eternal witness, the one who was there before your name, before your birth, before your first thought. You are not remembering as a mind. You are remembering as consciousness itself. The sky never fights the clouds. It doesn't chase the storms away. It simply allows them to pass. Knowing they are not it, you are the sky. Your thoughts, emotions, and stories are the passing clouds. But over time, you began to believe you were the thunder, the lightning, the storm. You forgot your vastness. You forgot the open sky. Awakening is when the sky remembers itself. Even in the middle of a storm, it doesn't push the clouds away. It just stops mistaking them for who it is. That remembering, that quiet recognition, is liberation. At the end of every spiritual journey, there comes a moment, not of fireworks, but of silence. It feels like waking up from a long dream and realizing you were never really lost. You were just dreaming of being lost. Liberation is not reaching a higher place. It's opening your eyes right where you stand and seeing that the divine was always here, in the breath, in the sound, in this very moment. When you remember, the world doesn't disappear. You just see it as it truly is, a dance of light in the mirror of consciousness. You realize the ocean was always water, the sky was always open, and you were always free. So remember, you are not walking toward enlightenment. You are walking back to yourself. Every silence you enter, every truth you face, every illusion you let go of, is one more step toward home. Awakening is not a destination. It's the memory of eternity whispering in your heart, calling you back to the simplicity of being. And one day, when you stop searching, stop labeling, stop resisting, you'll feel it, not as something gained, but as something uncovered, like the child who returns to the ocean and finally smiles, not because he found the sea, but because he remembered he was never apart from it.